Today on the Mike O'Mara Show.
My sister swings around to me and says, this is the day before Christmas. What'd you get Dad this year? I was like, I'm just giving him, a little envelope or a check. Like, that's usually what he wants, and that'd be nice, right?
You give your father money?
Yeah, because he's the hardest person to shop for.
That's weird.
Really?
That is weird.
That's weird.
That's
Really?
really weird.
That's weird.
Really?
That's weird.
Well, I'm kissing
Parents give kids cash all the time.
I'm kissing the ring.
Tie a colorful piece of fabric to your antenna or hang it out your window to let people know you are in distress.
But isn't that the signal that you want to get laid when you're an old person in Florida?
If you're at the Villages in Florida, tie a red ribbon to your antenna and you will get a... John Tesh, intelligence for your life.
I would imagine Newt Gingrich was a gourmand. I would imagine that he was a foodie.
According to Newt's Wikipedia, his favorite dish is the blood of the non-believer.
All that and more. The Mike O'Mara Show starts now. Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Let's get started.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara, Oscar Santana, and Rob Spiewak. Now, here's Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about a funeral director who called his son-in-law. He said, about your mother-in-law. Do you want us to embalm her, cremate her, or bury her? He says, do all three, don't take chances. While we're on the subject, since you like that so much, I can't resist telling you about the little woman way up in years, way up, who's had a full life and has never wanted for a thing in all of her life. However, now the good Lord sees fit to take her. Here she is on her bed, seconds before it's the finish. Momentarily the end will come. The husband is at the bedside. And with what little strength she can summon up in the last few seconds on this earth, pleadingly she says to her husband, tomorrow for the funeral. This is sad. Tomorrow for the funeral, do my favor. Let my mother ride with you in the first funeral car. He says, get out. She said, please, it's my last request. He said, let her drop dead and go with you in your car.
That's Myron Cohen. We talked about him yesterday on the show. Myron Cohen, dead for like 50 years or something like that?
I think he died just before that performance.
I think so. Welcome to the Mike O'Mara Show. We are enjoying our second decade of the show. That has become a daily routine for thousands of listeners in great places like Dismal Niche, Washington, Rybrook, New York, Paso Robles, California, Leavenworth, Kansas, Audubon, New Jersey, and Vilnius, Lithuania. Yeah.
What did your friend's grandmother say?
Labas, Joey.
Labas.
I still don't know what it means, but hail the gangs.
Someone tell us. We'd like that.
Hail, the gang's all here. We'll have a talking head in just a second or two here. But back from Los Angeles, traveling during a terrible time in America to travel.
Wrong time to have a cough. Let me tell you that much.
Do you really have a cough?
No, I just have acid reflux, and I just had some of this wonderful black coffee.
That was something that went down the wrong way?
Yeah, went down the wrong way. When you're traveling in the depths of a pandemic, even though you have multiple masks on, even though you've acquired N95s, I was tested no less than 7 times by a rapid test throughout the vacation.
He's still
Mike.
bleeding from it, Mike.
And when you have doctors, they have access. And when they have access, they use the tools that God has given them, and the pharmaceutical companies, of course. And,
yes.
And all the tests came out negative across the board for all 10 of us. And we said to us, not 10 of us, for all, 7, 8 of us. And I said to my family, I said, well, doesn't it really not matter at this point? We're getting on a plane with hundreds of thousands of people traveling through any airport. Anything's going to happen on the other side
with
of this.
the most contagious variant that's
exactly
existed.
And, and they said, why are you like this? Why are you so rude and crude about life?
You're real, man.
And I said, well, because we can't just hope for the best. We got to work for the best. I've got 3 masks on. That's not going to stop the guy in front of me on the plane hacking up a lung in first class. That's
right.
fine. Or the lady in back of me coughing and looked like she was sweating. That's fine. And I sit there and I'm like, Shannon's looking at me with the big saucer eyes every time this lady coughed in back of us or the guy in front of us coughed. And I was like, that's old people cough. That's an old man cough. Mm-hmm. I don't know that for sure. I know that I have a PCR test on my desk that I'll be putting a bunch of spit into, and then I'm going to send that out and do the best I can, Mike. The best I can.
I mean, I pulled the trigger yesterday on canceling a weekend getaway that I've been looking forward to, that I canceled the last time COVID reared its ugly head. I just don't want to, if it's, it's like elective surgery. If it's like elective surgery, why go? I mean, what's the point, right?
We were there 3 hours early. This is just LAX to DC.
At the airport, you mean?
At the airport.
Okay.
They offered us a voucher to stay. It escalated like a bidding war from $300 to $650. It went $300, $400 because they were overbooked.
Right.
And I was like, no, we're getting home. I got to do the show. We got to run the business. It's time to go home. The vacation's been over. We got an extended few days. Time to go, right? Yeah. And we get on the plane. And I'm a plethora of snacks guy, Mike. You know this. I think we talked about this when I
think we talked about snacks yesterday.
Yeah. Combos and Triscuits.
The work that it takes to shove a combo up your mask, chew it like a little baby bird, and then grab another combo, slide it up your mask, chew it like a little baby bird. So
you're being so careful that you're ingesting food by wedging it up under your mask. That's incredibly paranoid and wonderful.
It really is, because I think that's one of the last things you're allowed to demask to eat, right?
Well, it's stupid.
I know it's stupid.
It's the CDC mask policy, which is not a policy. It's winging it and kind of figuring it out.
Right.
Here's the deal. You're getting on an airplane, and if you're really worried about this incredibly transmissible variant of the COVID problem, I eat like Oscar.
Yeah.
I would eat like Oscar. I wouldn't want to get this thing. I've known people, do we need enough convincing, even though Mac's immunocompromised or just a sickly child anyway?
Yes.
Do we need any more? Do you want to sound like Mac? Or deal with what he dealt with? I don't want to deal with that. And by the way, down here, it's exploding down here in Florida.
And
it's crazy.
And to add insult to injury, and no knock on Joel Rogers or the wonderful airlines that are out there. And Mike, I almost texted you last night, don't go on your trip because it's not going to be fun.
Pulled the plug yesterday afternoon.
We land
good
after a slight delay in DCA.
You were fussy.
I was a fussy baby.
Yeah, I saw the text when I woke up this morning.
Yes. What should have been a 10 p.m. arrival, it turns into a deplane around 11:30 because we arrive early, but there's, as the pilot said, a traffic jam on the tarmac. And I said, well, they knew we were coming. They knew all these planes were coming. There wasn't enough people to get the planes to the tarmac in a timely manner. So we just rotted there. Rotted while the guy is coughing in front of us. The ladies in back of us is coughing. Rotting while everybody's sweating.
So the last thing you want is another 90 minutes in the steel tube.
And we got a dog. Why did we bring a dog with us? We should have left him at home.
Yeah.
Oscar's text last night, 10:24 p.m. Landed an hour ago. Just rotting on the tarmac now. Apparently, the airport has a skeleton staff manning the airport because of COVID. Garbage operation.
Yeah. Garbage operation.
That's a cranky cross-country flight boy right there.
Yes.
That dealt with that. Well, we got lots to talk about.
Just quickly.
Yes, go ahead.
Deplane. I call my wife an Uber, and by wife I mean
you're an Uber.
Us. And the Uber.
You're with your wife, right?
Yes. I ended up calling my wife an Uber because we waited another 30 minutes and the bags weren't coming off. And I said, no need to stand in this cesspool of disease. I'm going to send you guys home. I did not get home till 1:30 a.m. because our bags were not.
Was it what I've seen on the Magic Box where the luggage is all over the floor where people...
It looked like a scene out of Argo. That's what it looked like.
So have you rapid tested since you arrived?
Yes. Negative.
Good for you. That's wonderful.
That's still not as negative as the text we got last night, but pretty negative.
Man.
Yeah, very good. Well, we'll talk more about it. I want to talk about your funeral parlor Christmas that I watched online, and we got lots to cover on the show today.
I want to give you under Christmas.
I want to give you my food tip for Christmas. I want to talk about gifts that I got me and my son and how we're living
yes,
down here, but
yes.
we have a talking head
Yes, we do.
because it is Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time to bring him in. Our talking head, Chef Matt Finarelli. Chef Finarelli is a lifelong D.C. area guy who has listened to the show for over 30 years. Matt is 45 and has been married to his wife, Susan, for 10 years. They have a 10-year-old daughter, Emmy, who is 8. Great age. Great age. They live in Burke, Virginia, with their 2 cats, Coco and Oreo. He went to Duke University, ooh, boy, oh boy, and received his culinary training at Stratford University. This is an educated chef we have here. He has been a chef for 16 years and has taught cooking for 10 years. Pre-COVID, he would teach cooking in people's homes and clean up, but he has since been forced to shift to virtual classes, which allowed it to explode, so much so that he will continue virtual teaching even when COVID is behind us. Well, that's a good deal. At Finarelli.com. Finarelli. Anyway, sorry. He is a culinary jack of all trades. He loves to cook Italian, naturally, but he is most inspired by Thai cuisine. Oh, my God. Yum, yum. I'm hungry already. Before his chefdom, he was a Smithsonian photographer, a marketing specialist for the World Wildlife Fund, and a White House intern in the summer of 1995. And no, he never met her. That would be her, the her we're talking about. Does it begin with an M and end with a last name begins with an L? Is that what we're talking about? Or, okay, very good. He owns 7 refrigerators and freezers and has cooked for Newt Gingrich and Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan, among others. His favorite mic voices include Lucille Ball, tough to do anymore, his gateway impression, Bill O'Reilly and Arch Campbell. He was the penultimate yak shacker, and he will mince on demand. Intrigued you should be now. Here's Chef Matt Finarelli with his chef's coat on. Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's an honor to be talking to you after all these years of listening.
It's amazing when I love reading people's backgrounds, and your educational background being Duke, which means that's you can pretty much write your own ticket with that. I tell my son that, work real hard. I put Duke in the same block with all the big schools, and then it was on. So it was Duke first, and then the pivot to culinary training, or how did that work with your educational world?
My degree was in environmental science, and I worked for World Wildlife Fund for 8 years, actually using my degree.
The WWF.
But then, WWF, the panda. And, I was there when they forced the wrestlers to change their logo.
As
and,
they should.
We got some,
Good for you.
Yes.
we got some angry emails, let me tell you. But then I started teaching a cooking class. I've been cooking all my life. I started teaching a cooking class randomly at night, and I loved it so much that I decided to go to culinary school as night school. And so I was working all day and cooking school all night, and I graduated first in my class from culinary school, and I loved it. So I started out at the bottom. I quit my whole career and started out at the bottom in restaurants. My very first gig, I was just, doing a lot of chopping in the back and just working my way up through the restaurants. Oh yeah, that's where you begin.
I always find it fascinating, the journey that people take, because when I went to my first school, it was Marist College up in Poughkeepsie, New York, and we were just down the road from the Culinary Institute of America, one of the finest cooking schools in the United States, and Culinary Institute. And I will tell you something that I think it was my first year, we were the experiment for the Culinary Institute. And it wasn't necessary because they were already wonderfully talented, trained people that would come in. And we had some of the greatest food I will ever remember until they switched to Mackey. So I'm always fascinated with people that do what you do in that world. And I've always wanted to ask somebody who goes to culinary school, what is the single most difficult thing to master that you think most of your fellow students would collaborate on? What do you think is the hardest thing to do at culinary school?
I'll tell you, when you go to culinary school, everyone takes like the first class together. You take sanitation, okay, to make sure the kitchen's clean. Mm-hmm. And then there's a divergence instantly. All the pastry people go this way, and everybody else, and I'm one of the everybody else's, goes this way, and they take their own classes. Now, I think the hardest thing to do is the little bit of pastry work that I had to do as part of my other education. That's the hardest part, because that's not what I'm trained in. That's not the part that. So when we had to do sugar art, I was lost. I mean, that was just that was insanity. And to this day, people. Yeah, when people ask me today, they're like, is there anything you won't teach? I don't teach cake decorating because I'm no good at it. It's like I feel like I'd be learning with you. So I have other chef instructors.
The pastry people, that's more of almost like a chemistry science, right? And not so much cooking. There's so much variance that can wreck a pastry. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not. I think that all cooking is applied chemistry and physics. I always approach it from that scientific standpoint. But the real damage in pastry is it's that instant feedback loop that you don't have. Okay, so let's say I'm sautéing a chicken breast and I burn it. I know instantly that I've burned it, and so I can instantly take steps to rectify that. No problem. Now let's say I'm making a cake and I put in baking soda instead of baking powder. Well, I don't know I've done that. And I just keep stirring along like a happy idiot and keep adding things. I'm just working along. I've already ruined it. It's done. It's dead. I have no idea. I don't know until I open the oven and I got this hockey puck staring at me instead of a chocolate cake. I'm like, oh, God. And you got to start all over again from scratch then. And you never knew. That's why pastry is so brutal. Because
isn't that also why with home chefs, I don't want to diminish regular, people that are regular chefs and what they do. But as far as in the home, I've always found that, cooking is one thing. The guy gets in the kitchen, makes his family a nice big steak dinner. But the baking, people that can bake, it's a different level. It's just, there's much less room for error, right? In pastry chefdom, I mean, it's much more measuring perfectly where you can kind of wing it when you're doing other stuff, right?
Yeah, that is everyone says that, and it's true. I mean, what it's true to one point. If everything had to be exact in the world of baking, there'd only be one type of bread. There'd only be one type of cookie. There'd only be one type of cake. You have room to play around with all of these recipes, but the trick is it's about replication. If you want the same thing to happen every time, if you make a perfect loaf of bread and you want the next loaf of bread to be as exact as that, your measurements have to be the exact same as the last time. And that's where the exactitude in baking comes in. It's about replication.
Go ahead.
If you're willing to work with a zone of acceptability, then you can fudge it a little. It's okay. I always like to tell people it's okay. You don't have to stress out too much, because I do teach bread baking. You don't have to kill yourself. It's okay. We're gonna turn out good bread. It'll work.
You know what I'd like to make? I would like to make a beef Wellington, like Gordon Ramsay makes on all of his shows. I've always been fascinated with that. I'm fascinated with cooking. I think I'm not really that good at it, it's not something that is like riding a bike. If you don't do it for a while, at one point I was cooking for 80 people coming over to my house, and I had a New Year's Day brunch where I made literally everything, and no way I could do that anymore. I'm lucky if I'm able to make a grilled cheese sandwich for my kid. It's a skill you have to keep at it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What if you don't have an oven, sir?
You talking about your house, Oscar?
I was so depressing walking back in last night, where I was like, oh, this hovel.
Yeah.
Okay. Oscar's a little jet lagged, so bear with him.
Yeah, cranky.
No worries. If you don't have an oven, I tell you, there's workarounds for everything. And I actually can make some really awesome stovetop buttermilk biscuits that you can do right in a cast iron on your stove.
Nice. But your thing, it says here on your bio, your thing is Thai. That's Thai food. Thai food, as someone who loves it, it's like anything else. There's a lot of it out there, but to find the best, tell us about your affinity for Thai cooking. Why do you like it so much?
I was lucky enough to spend the summer in Thailand and be a guest of the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador at the time. And
of course.
Yes.
Well, there you go then. There you go. All right.
So cooking with the U.S. ambassador chef, she taught me so much about the theory of Thai cooking, and what it is it's all about contrast. It's about, if you think about how a recipe balances, you can balance by putting things close together that are complementary and similar, and your recipe balances. But the Thai they say, we're going to take things that are wildly different, and yet the recipe still balances through this incredible divergent contrast that you have there. And that's that opened my eyes. It changed everything. And so I approach every cuisine that I cook with a sort of that Thai sensibility of contrast in cooking. I'm contrasting hot and cold, crunchy and soft, green and red, spicy and cooling, earthy and grassy. I always try to put in, if I put in something, I try to put in its opposite at the same time so that it awakens the dish. It makes you say, wow, what is that contrast, but still keeping that balance at the same time.
How great. Seriously, if I can just for a moment, if I can just wallow for a second, how great has this talking head segment become over the year? I mean, how many people bring a story in, right? So you teach online. That's how you plan to continue to do that because you said it's exploded. But as far as like your own cooking for other people, do you do any of that anymore? Do you still do that? Yeah. Do you work in the restaurant biz? Do you go to private homes? Are you making food for people instead of teaching people to cook?
Yes, so the in-person classes I was hoping to start up again this year, but then Omicron has reared its ugly head. So I'm just taking it easy before going back into people's homes. I'm vaccinated and boosted and all of that, and I'm just making sure everyone can get there and let this settle down. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get back into people's homes and do those classes in person because I love that. I have the gift for gab too. I'm an extrovert with a capital E like you guys. So I want to get back into that. But this virtual thing has given me opportunities that I never would have had a chance to do. I taught a class where I had one person in Sweden, one person in Austria, one here in DC, and one in Denver, all at the same time. I never would have been able to do that before. And so it just opened my eyes to I can reach and teach anywhere, anyone. And I love that. I love to teach and share what I do.
You know, Matt, the Zoom world has changed our show for the better as well, where, we used to communicate with each other with video, but now with everybody, any guest that comes on, the talking head, seeing people instead of just listening to people, it's really, really fascinating. Now, you actually worked at the White House as an intern. What is the criteria for that? Well, now see, everything now leads back to a joke. What's the criteria? I've got a filthy joke that's bouncing around in my head right now.
How dare you?
How do you get to be a White House intern? Oh, practice, baby. No. How do you...
Through my mom. My mom had a job there, and I worked it's all nepotism. Everyone who was a White House intern was connected in some way or shape. I'm a DC native, and that's totally how you get in on those kinds of things. It was the luck of birth, as it were.
What were your duties as a White House intern, and was anything great about it? And did anything really?
Matt, we need you to take this down to the laundry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Can you rinse this?
I literally met Bill Clinton once, and it was just sort of a handshake kind of thing. I was working completely in a satellite building. I worked for something called the Globe program, and one of my main jobs, because it was a summer '95, was to call all the teachers. It was a school project. I had to call all the thousands of teachers on the list and tell them, hey, the new school year is about to start. Are you ready, with this internet-based thing? And to a T, every single teacher was like, I've never been on the internet. What is it?
Long time ago. Wow. 95, a good 95. Long time ago.
Oh, yeah. And they were going to have to do it in their classroom. And they're like, we signed up because it sounded cool, but we have no idea what it is. Wow. What are we about to sign on for? So I would walk teachers through, what this program was and how these students were going to take environmental readings, and then report them online on this new thing called the internet.
Wow.
They were using Netscape at the time.
That's the left side of the aisle. Let's go to the right side of the aisle. It says you cook for Newt Gingrich. I would imagine Newt Gingrich was a gourmand. I would imagine that he was a foodie and probably quite demanding. But what did you cook for old Newty?
Newty.
I don't remember. It was so many years ago. I don't remember what I cooked. What I remember is he was a nice guy. I mean, I am politically different from him for sure, but he, like everyone else at the party, was just nice and it was relaxed. It was like any other cooking event. That's what was so cool. You go in with this nervousness.
According to
it's actually being hosted by someone else. He was a guest at that party.
According to Newt's Wikipedia, his favorite dish is the blood of the non-believer.
So if you come to my house, and I see you also cooked for Supreme Court Justice Kagan, if you come to my house and all chefs have their go-tos. They do. Yeah. I mean, whether it's a great restaurant, whether it's a Michelin star, it doesn't matter. There are their signature things. You come to my home and you want that wow factor. What are you going to make? What are you going to cook?
Beef Wellington, of course.
Oh, really? You do Wellington?
Of course I do Wellington.
You, not just because I said that. You really do Wellington, huh?
Of course I do. Oh, I did a Wellington probably just a month ago for someone. Yeah, no, I absolutely. It's very popular. Just actually over the pandemic, the number one class that I was taught was paella. I think I did paella like 25 times from this kitchen, showing people around the world how to make paella. And I mean, I cook so much paella. I like to say my neighbors are tired of eating paella.
So
God,
paella, as I understand it, is a Spanish seafood stew with lots of rice. But I mean, with paella, as opposed to, how about this? This is my foodie part of the show. Bouillabaisse, which is more of a soup. Paella, it's all the moisture is absorbed and the flavor is absorbed into the rice. Am I right about that?
You're 100% correct. Paella is a great rice dish, and the trick is to get the rice right. After that, everything else you put in, just details. It's personal preferences and details. You got to get that saffron-infused rice with that beautiful, crisp bottom of toasted rice on the bottom right. If you get that, everything else is just, hey, whatever you want to put in there.
We have a question coming in from jet-lagged Oscar Santana, ladies and gentlemen.
Good to be here, gentlemen. I wanted to ask if food can set the tone of a conversation or a setting. For example, we've had White House chefs in the past on for All the Best,
right?
And they've said that like they wanted something casual because they wanted to be a summit to be casual and
the
they
hamburger
wanted to formal.
summit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So have you seen and have you worked on setting the tone with some of your clients with the food that's actually served?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. What I always ask if I'm doing catering, more like catering kind of things, ask what's the occasion? Why are you bringing me in? And then how can we build something based on a past trip that they took? Or if it's an anniversary, what did you serve at your wedding? Can we recreate something along those lines? I also do around Valentine's Day. I do tons of classes using aphrodisiacs in the cooking. So
Look out.
Ways to work traditional aphrodisiacs.
Hello.
And so absolutely. Yeah. So absolute mood setting is everything, because at the end of the day, when people finish a class of mine, I want the first thing they say is, that was fun, and if you just serve good food, they're going to say that was delicious. And that's great. I don't mind that. I really don't. But I really want to make everyone say that was fun, and setting the mood, making the menu be part of the whole experience is what's going to say, wow, that was a great time.
I think one of the coolest things, and I was talking to the chef yesterday when we were doing the pre-interview. I've done a couple of these classes, not with him, unfortunately, but one of the greatest things is when they pair you with a wine or a liquor from the region that you're cooking for. Mm-hmm. How important is that?
It definitely sets the tone. How do I go into this quickly? Wines follow and mimic the foods that exist in that region. So the foods that you find, the wines are grown to pair with those wines. So local dishes with local wines that have that local terroir, it just makes sense. You'll notice a perfect example. The wines of Southern Italy are incredibly acidic. You try to drink them by themselves and they give you a stomachache because they have so much acid. But then you look at the food of Southern Italy, and it's full of tomatoes. It's acidic food. The acidic wine pairs with the acidic food. So that wine comes from that region. If you cook food from that region, that wine was made to go with the food of that region. So that kind of pairing is a no-brainer. It makes absolute sense.
Wow.
And you are Matt Finarelli, and so you obviously have a background in Italian food. Do you have a go-to dish? Do you have your favorite to make or eat as far as Italy? Because I'm waiting to talk about our Christmas in the O'Mara household, where my mother-in-law made this incredible lasagna. And I now will probably want lasagna for Christmas dinner for the rest of my days instead of that, that big old roast. What's your favorite Italian, chef?
I love risotto. It's a specialty of mine. I just taught it last night to an online class, and we take it so seriously in this household. My wife and I, my wife Susan, hi Susan. My wife and I, when we wrote our vows to each other independently, the word risotto appeared in both of our wedding vows to each other. So yeah, we love our risotto here. So that's my favorite Italian to cook.
Oh my God! And is it as hard to do as people say it is to get it right?
No, it's not. And that's what I teach I teach the fact that everyone thinks you got to stand over the stove and just be stirring constantly and slowly adding.
That's what I thought.
No, I teach you how to cook it with 3 stirs, 3 times. You stir it 3 times and you'll get a perfect risotto, I promise.
Wow. And so anybody that's interested in this type of stuff can go to finarelli.com to find out about that. And how did you get into our show? And do you listen to us in the kitchen?
I got into your show back from the WAVA Morning Zoo days.
Wow, long
Virginia.
time. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, yeah, over 30 years I've been listening to you, Mike. That's why it's such an honor to be talking
That's
to you.
wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
You're the one who taught me that there was such a thing as a voice mimic, because I said to my brother, I'm like, how does this local radio show have Lucille Ball on every single day in studio? I mean, that's crazy. And he's like, no, dummy. My older brother, he's like, no, you idiot. That's a guy doing her voice. Like,
I did Lucille Ball. I did an impression, and even on TV one time went in drag. It was, wonderful days. Yeah, the days of doing anything to get famous. That's what it was.
Still better than Nicole Kidman, though.
Yes. Well, we'll get to that hopefully in the show today when we have a little TV discussion on that. Well, this is really, really wonderful. And it sounds like you are a creature of COVID, like so many of us, that kind of pivoted and decided to expand the online thing. And how is it working out for you, Chef, with these cooking classes online? Going well?
It's exceeded all my expectations. I never thought this would take off the way it did. I sent out an email saying, hey, I'm pivoting. I'm going to do some virtual stuff. And I was booked for 6 months straight right after that. Everyone was like, yeah, we want to do something. We love your cooking classes. Let's try this virtual thing. I mean, I was doing four a week for, 4 nights a week for almost 6 months straight. Wow. And gosh. I was blown away. And that's another reason I'm not going to give it up. People like it. I can do it with anyone, anywhere in the country, any time of day, just you name it, and I'll teach you how to do it, and we'll have a fun time. That's
awesome.
Fun.
I love it. I love this pivot. It's been great.
And is there any?
I want to get back in kitchens.
You mentioned the pastries that you pivoted when you were at the Culinary Institute, and I always have trouble with that word. If you're wondering, some of my culinary. Couldn't
I say culinary myself.
Culinary. Is there anything that terrifies you in the kitchen that you say, "Oh, let's work on something else"? Like somebody comes to you with a particular dish you avoid in the kitchen. Everybody's got something that they don't care for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's when you get to fancy desserts. It's just I'm not gonna. It's not my thing. It's I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are, and fancy decorated desserts. Not my thing.
Do you have a go-to dessert? I do some good
desserts.
Yeah. What is your go-to? What is your go-to dessert then?
Oh my God, I have a lot of good ones, but I consider my signature dessert to be tiramisu. I make a really excellent tiramisu with a few special tricks that really bring it up to the next level. And I try to tell people, like, if you think you don't like tiramisu, it's because you haven't had mine yet. You haven't tried it. So I'll get you. I'll make a convert out of you.
Well, really, we'll give you a chance now. We got to let you go, but thank you. And if anybody's interested in this, it's Finarelli, FINARELLI.com. If you'd like to do this, I think it'd be really a lot of fun to do that. I see big things, Oscar. I could see a podcast with the chef. He's got the gift of gab. Before we let you go, anybody you want to say hi to, Matt?
Absolutely. I'd love to say hi to my lovely wife, Susan. She's the best. She's lets me do this in the kitchen all the time. To my daughter, Emmy, who, when I listen to this podcast in the car, she likes to call you all the boring guys. Why are you listening to the boring guys?
Shut up!
I know.
Shut up. I'll play Myron Cohen again.
And of course, to my brother John, who introduced me to the Morning Zoo all those years ago. I wouldn't be a fan today if it wasn't for him. And of course, to all of my fans and clients and all the people who've made this business I'm the happiest chef in the world because I just love what I do and I get to do it with awesome people. So thank you to everybody who has ever given me a chance and invited a stranger into their house with knives to be a part of their dinner. I really do appreciate that.
Chef Matt Finarelli, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We got to take a break. That's wonderful. I love this segment.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Matt.
Chef.
And
Thank you.
Good luck to you with everything.
You all
That's so much fun. Wow. He's good. I think he could have his own show, but don't tell him that. Anyway, we got to take a break. And when we come back, there's so much to get to on today's show. We'll have the homepage and a very good TV corner. We have to get all our TV recommendations out for you. We'll be right back.
Hello, it's Bernie. And you know what I hate? Well, frankly, I hate most everything. But I really hate splinters. They hurt, and I'm always losing my tweezers, and it's frustrating. So, what's the solution? Stop it at the source. Make sure all your wood is smooth. Go to the Mike O'Mara Show Shopping Center and buy one of their fantastic Bernie sanders. Plug it in and go to work in your wood shop. Your raw lumber doesn't stand a chance. Smooth as a baby's ass and no more splinters. They sell tweezers too. Target and Walmart, they sell it all. Just access it at MikeO'MaraShow.com. Feel the burn.
Boing. That's it. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Byju's Future School. Even in the best schools, your child probably isn't getting the one-to-one teaching that they need to reach their full potential. In a classroom with dozens of kids, teachers just don't have the time to customize their approach. At Byju's Future School, students receive personalized attention and a world-class learning experience completely online to supplement their in-person school education. Byju's math and music courses help build a foundation of knowledge and self-confidence. And with Byju's coding course, students get the fundamentals of coding through their favorite games. Roblox, Minecraft, those are the biggies that my son likes. They'll have tons of fun while learning about the technology that makes games, apps, and cryptocurrencies possible. Oscar enrolled his nephew in it, and he's loving it. All you have to do is join the millions of parents accelerating their kids' learning today. Your child can build their own Minecraft character in the first 4 weeks. Visit byju's.com/podcast to enroll your first 4 classes. That's a $99 value for just $9.99. That's 4 classes for just $9.99 at byjus.com/podcast. Do it today, and we're delighted to have Byju's on the Mike O'Mara Show. And it was so much fun talking to the chef.
Wasn't he great?
Chefs. It's wonderful. Great.
From the 4 corners of the World Wide Web and into your digital device. It's what you need to know. This is the homepage.
This is. Even the most evil person on earth didn't want Betty White to die. But at the same time, I'll bet she had a lot of animal charities in her will, and they're going to get some bank. Listen to this. The website Celebrity Net Worth claims Betty was worth $75 million, Mr. Powers.
Wow.
It's a working actor right there.
Yeah.
It's not clear what she was making for the Golden Girls, but between when that show ended in 1992 and her death last week, she reportedly pocketed $87 million in revenue for reruns alone. She made another $9.6 million doing 6 seasons of Hot in Cleveland. And she may have loved animals, but she didn't mind eating them. She loved hot dogs in particular. And one of her favorite restaurants was Pink's Hot Dogs in L.A. I remember hearing about that.
Did you see what Seth Meyers posted about her hosting Saturday Night Live?
No.
He said she was the only host that he ever saw that got a standing ovation at the wrap party. She ordered a hot dog and a vodka and stayed till the thing was over.
Oh, neat lady.
Great,
really,
isn't it?
really neat lady. Let's see. She wanted her hot dogs no toppings. Just meat in a bun like I like mine.
Yeah.
That's the way I like my hot dog. She even once told the owner, quote, "You can tell everybody that Betty White gets naked at Pink's." Dirty birdie. And for the next week, proceeds from sales of Betty White's naked hot dog will go to the LA Zoo, which is great. Also, Betty's hometown of Oak Park, Illinois, will celebrate her on January 17th, which would have been her 100th birthday. I do not get tired of sharing those kind of stories about Betty White because she was one of those cool people. All right, guys, it's your city, and they finally decided to do it. The Washington football team has announced that it has a new name.
This surprises me that they're going to do it, that they're going to change it.
The name will be revealed February 2nd, and then they proceed to give it away by accident. Oh, okay, so apparently they did that. People noticed that if you typed in the URL WashingtonAdmirals.com, it took you directly to the Washington football team's official website. No. Please. away. The Admirals?
Now, I actually have a theory, and I don't want to ever give this organization credit for ever doing anything clever, because they haven't ever. But I think it might be a smokescreen.
No.
Because the fact
No
No.
way.
Why would
no
you
way. Well,
want-
you'll be proven right by
Yes.
February 2nd if it's not the Admirals.
Here is my long-range prediction. Because it is Groundhog Day, I think they're going to be the Washington Hogs.
The Washington Hogs?
Yeah, as a tribute to the classic offensive
the
line.
Hogs.
And also the fact that it is Groundhog Day that they are announcing it. But the thing is they're not clever enough to put up a smokescreen because they haven't made a clever decision in 40 years.
Yeah, but there's no history rooted in Groundhog Day and the Washington football team.
No, but hog to groundhog, you see.
Yeah, I
The
think
Hogs were the linemen that
I
they
think it's
all
the Admirals. They have
What?
Admirals is the only thing worse than Washington football team.
better than the Wizards. Better than the Wizards.
Is it?
What is the challenge? Why do they make it so difficult? Why don't they call a PR firm? Why don't they call Steve Winter and say, what should we call the team? Get back to me by the afternoon. Instead of these 14-year decisions which result, the longer you wait, the more you, if it's the Admirals, that is just such bull crap.
Call Charlie Brotman. He'll say, go back to the Redskins.
Is he still alive?
I think he is.
Is Brotman still alive?
Let me check. I think he is.
Anyway, it seems like they're going to be the Admirals. I can't.
I love the fact, if they are, that they let it out. It's so great. It's so classic.
How do they become the Admirals? It's
could
the
be
same
worse.
thing with the Nationals and the Wizards. Worst sports teams ever.
How about going down with the ship? Maybe that's why it's called the Admirals.
Very funny. Although that doesn't, anyway, WashingtonAdmirals.com takes you a charity called Giving Kitchen. Don't like Admirals? Could be worse. Some people are speculating they're going to be the Washington Groundhogs like Rob and, because of the Groundhog Day thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
The
are talking
Groundhog
about
Day
that
thing,
too.
what? You just continue losing every day? Week in, week out?
It's cold outside. Anyway.
Charlie Brotman alive at age 94.
Way to go, Charlie. Fantastic. Mike Lush is a casting director for The Real World, and he now has some advice for you, future reality stars, on how to, make your audition really sing. Here's what he suggests for your audition if you want to be a star on a reality show. Toot your own horn. I agree with that. That's what they all do. Don't be afraid to brag about yourself because nothing is off limits in the casting interview. Number 2, be specific. I get it. Number 3, crying is cool.
No.
It's okay to be vulnerable and showing emotion. They love that. So if you go in there and it's just like,
ratings
I've
gold.
always wanted to do this because my father, and I'm just a loser. Anyway, diversity is ideal. It's important to see diversity in the cast, so that helps if you're from a different background. Dress and plan to impress. Be camera ready and be sure to be in a private space for your interview and away from any distractions. And number 6 is, I think this is the last one, stay connected. Keep up to date on your social media, and follow the casting directors to see which shows they're casting. Also, answer your phone or the director will move on to the next person. So
Smart.
Picture somebody eating Cheetos and the phone's ringing. I want to get it.
You
I don't
get
wanna
it.
get
Just
it.
like
There
Mac.
you go.
I'm over here crying.
Right. I'm just crying because the team's the Washington Admirals. Every team name outside of the Capitals who've never been effed with, they've
Right.
always been the
Mike.
Capitals. Everyone's been mishandled. Every one of them.
Do you think the Snyders want to go to their family and say, we're now the Hogs?
No.
No. They want to say we're the
But I also-
Admirals.
I don't. Why? But I still don't get the Admirals when they could have been. The Washington. How about the Washington Power?
My guess
There you go.
is it's the least litigious of the options.
That's exact. It's some stupid reason. Anyway, it sucks.
Will Stockdale is going to sue.
Yes.
So here's an interesting story coming out of Arizona. A couple got arrested after intentionally leaving their 11-year-old son home alone for the holidays.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Yeah.
They live in a little town called Elfrida, Arizona. You know where that is? You ever hear of Elfrida?
I'm not aware of Elfrida.
Mike, it means the Frida.
That's because it's not in your part that you lived in. It's just north of the border with Mexico. And it actually happened before Christmas. The mom, 34-year-old Melissa Green, she left town just before Thanksgiving. The dad is 40-year-old Bobby Joe Green, and he left just after Thanksgiving. So there was one there before Thanksgiving, a parent, and then one there after, and then they both split.
Doesn't Bobby Joe Green call it Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving. My name's Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe Green. Cops got a tip and found the kid at home alone during a welfare check December 12th. It's a long time after Thanksgiving. So it sounds like he'd been there by himself for a full 2 weeks. Luckily, unfortunately, it was tough for the cops because they were all walking on glass. I'm sorry. Luckily, he was okay. He had enough to eat. But he hadn't been to school in 2 weeks. Child Protective Services took him in. Melissa and Bobby Joe got arrested on December 29th after they finally came home from their trip.
Wow.
They go away for a month. Still not clear where they went. They're facing charges of child neglect, you think?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good
Bobby Joe
idea.
is not yet reported back to his job as a traffic director for Stafford, Virginia.
Stafford, Virginia.
A long
Hey, I'm glad you
weekend's
brought that
okay.
up. A long weekend.
A little much, yeah.
No, even a long weekend. They'd probably lock you up for that one,
FaceTime
too.
him now.
You know? Yeah, it's true. But,
Go look in the Ring doorbell.
Bobby Joe! The big I-95 mess in Virginia, Rob, left hundreds of people stranded in the snow and ice this week. Traffic backed up for 40 miles. Some people stuck a full 24 hours in their cars. The Red Cross website has advice on what to do if you're ever in a similar situation. And I'll be honest with you, I thought about it when I saw that. I said, what would you ever do if you were really stranded? Here's what to do if you get stranded in snow. Specifically, 1, grab your emergency kit if you've got one. Everyone should, especially if you're driving in winter weather. A good kit has things like blankets, flashlights, non-perishable food, and water. Number 2, if you can't get help or find shelter, stay in your car. It depends on how bad the snow is. But in general, don't leave your car unless help is visible within 100 yards.
Thank you, John.
It's easy to get turned around in a snowstorm and lose track of your car. Then you're f***ed. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Say that.
Number three, don't run the heater for more than 10 minutes per hour. That should keep you warm enough to survive, but also save gas. Just make sure your exhaust pipe doesn't get blocked by the snow. Mm-hmm. Or you could end up with carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, just like Robert Young. Remember, he tried to kill himself.
Robert Young.
He did.
Jesus, your reference. Another 70-year-old reference from Rob Spiewak. Number 4, if you've got passengers, huddle together to stay warm.
Nice.
Like rats. And cover up whatever you can if you don't have blankets. And finally, number 6, make sure someone knows you're in trouble. If the whole highway is jammed up, you're not alone. But if you're in a remote area by yourself, call for help. That sounds like a typical John test. Use your phone to call for help. That'll be helpful. Duh.
Hit the number 9, then the number 1, and then the number 1 again.
If that's not possible, tie a colorful piece of fabric to your antenna or hang it out your window to let people know you are in distress.
Isn't that
Intelligence
the signal
for your life with John Smesh.
But isn't that the signal that you want to get laid when you're an old person in Florida?
If you're at the Villages in Florida, tie a red ribbon to your antenna and you will get a John Tesh, intelligence for your life. All right. All right, now a little something for you. Remember Stephanie Matto?
Yeah.
Kobe.
Oh, dear.
She's the woman from 90 Day Fiancé who made a small fortune farting into jars and selling them.
Jars.
Unfortunately, she's been forced into retirement due to excessive gas. Turns out her steady diet of gas caught up with her and she had to go to the hospital. Her quote, I could tell that something was not right, blah, blah, blah. Stephanie thought she was dying of a stroke or a heart attack, so she rushed to the hospital where a doctor diagnosed her with that medical condition known as intense gas pain.
Sure.
A publicist for Maddow said, quote, This is the last fake post about Stephanie that I can write. Unfortunately, now she will have to go back to her pre-reality show life and thankfully vanish into obscurity where she probably belonged anyway. I wrote that myself. I was tired of that show.
Said the fake post.
Yeah. I can't do it anymore because I went to the hospital. Fake, lie, lie. Lie, fake, lie. Lie, lie. Fake, fake, fake. Lie, lie, lie. Here's my fart in a jar. Lie, lie, lie. My 15 minutes is over. Bye, Stephanie. Have a nice life, okay? Thank you. Eat your beans and get fat. We'll be right back on the Mike O'Meara
Mrs. Z
Show.
wants candy.
Shannon.
Thanks, Pete.
I like to
Texture.
snack.
Well, we should have something sweet.
She loves candy.
Airheads, if they're sour, Sour Patch. The watermelon flavored ones,
Sweet tarts.
Nerds, black licorice.
Shannon.
Good and plenty. Chocolate.
Hershey bar. Peanut butter cup.
The watermelon.
Bitter
I ate all of my favorite candies.
Don't worry, Peach. You can stock up on all your favorites through the Mike O'Meara Shopping Center. Click the banner at MikeO'MearaShow.com.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Meara Show, brought to you by Chime. It's a new year, which means it's time to leave behind the things that don't serve you well, like overdraft fees. Overdraft fees are the last thing you need when your checking account balance is low. But with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, you can save that hard-earned paper without paying overdraft fees. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit purchases and cash withdrawals with no overdraft fees at all. Chime is awesome because Chime works with you. Make your first good decision in 2022 and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/TMOS. That's chime.com/TMOS. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. See chime.com/spotme for all the details. Welcome back to the show. Before we get to the next segment after this, I want to talk about TV because there's a lot of TV out there that I want to talk about. Oscar just came back from Los Angeles, got in 10:30 last night to the airport.
Traveled all day.
All day.
We've talked a little about Christmas. Not a lot. Rob and I haven't even talked about it. But I'm curious about yours because I saw I think it was either a picture or a short video.
Time-lapse.
The time-lapse. Oh, that's right. A time-lapse thing where you're opening the gifts. And there you all are in your business suits sitting around the tree and not scowling, but certainly not looking filled with joy. To make a long story short, it was the Oscar trip to California to your sister's house for Christmas time.
What was so off-putting about the time-lapse?
I was not off-putting.
Formal.
It looked extremely formal.
Yeah, but you all know that's how formal. I've just mentioned for years that we dress up for Christmas.
It's great. I think it's classy.
Yeah.
You're the classiest guy here. Look, you got Raised by Wolves over here. You got Dead Parents, Black Sheep of the Family over here. And then you're doing things like old school and kind of in a neat way, and you're not a lazy slob DJ when you sit around and everybody really dresses like people used to do.
Do you sign a guest book when you come into the living room on Christmas morning?
Maitre D. Maitre D. That's funny.
Mother's here.
It looked very. The word I would use, and I'm just having fun.
Yes,
it looked a tad starchy.
Yeah. That's a great word.
Thank you. I
Very
just
good.
made it up.
Let us name the show today Starchy.
I guess in fairness to you, if you look at that video, and that's just a snapshot of what was, maybe an hour's worth of opening presents.
It truly was great video.
It is very formal.
Yeah.
And you know who chief, the general of the evening is? My mom. My mom will come to the room you're staying in, and she says,
shocking.
Dress como la gente, which like dress classy, like the people, like classy people.
I love that. I love that. I wish more people would do that.
Don't punt. Do not punt.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, I live seriously in jammy land.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know what? And COVID has underscored it. It's made everybody worse about it.
I am driving out of the community yesterday,
Yes.
and I you not. I slowed down because I was almost certain that the man walking his dog at about 8 o'clock in the morning was in his boxer shorts.
Oh no!
I said there are no regular shorts that have that teeny tiny pattern that that he is in his underwear, down here in the land that care forgot. Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead. I didn't want to steal your thunder here.
A true highlight, and I have low lights, but the true highlight is still having my 5-year-old nephew believe in Santa Claus.
That's wonderful.
And he should, because
I don't
Santa's
know
real.
where Michael is. Where's Michael right now?
Michael is still right. This will probably be the last one, but he's still. You could still sell it a little bit,
Yes.
but I think he's probably got it noodled through. But he kind of likes the whole idea. We had a whole thing with, that's Rudolph. That's Rudolph.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
that's him.
yeah.
And it's beautiful and it's sad because it's going to go soon.
But
It's,
if you still have it in your life,
Do you leave cookies
Right.
out? Do you do the whole thing?
Scotch.
I'm talking about Santa, not Dad.
yeah, we do
Santa.
milk and cookies.
Yeah,
a note, a
Yeah.
letter, and I like that my niece, who is 12, and my nephew is 16, they don't mess it up for him either. They're like, hey, you want to look at the NORAD tracker? How does
So
Santa?
cool, yeah.
How does this is always great. This is when you're making the right decisions in life. Mommy, how does Santa know which chimney to come down on? And
Big house. Mommy, does Santa come in the west wing or the south wing?
Did you send Santa the current code to the gate?
so I wake up.
Does Santa meet the butler if he's up? Yeah, they do very
And my
well
sister
out
set
in
up.
Los Angeles.
They have a pool and they have a private tennis court. So it's like it is
In LA.
You feel like you're a resort, but within that same breath, you're still dealing with family. So who's going to wake up and take everybody to the airport? Oscar. Who's going to wake up at 5 a.m. and be Santa Claus? Ho, ho, ho. Like to pretend to be Santa Claus? Oscar. Like who's going to...
Hold it. Hold it.
Yes.
Hold it. To what extent did you pretend to be Santa Claus?
Well,
I mean, did we just get it with the ho ho ho?
I didn't see any Santa in the
ho,
time
ho.
lapse. I saw a guy in a business suit.
no, we open gifts up
That was Santa Claus's representation.
at midnight.
Right. When you come
Yes.
back, do you go to church?
No church.
No church. You just you go to dinner.
We go to dinner, and then we open the gifts up at midnight. And
What
then
time do you eat dinner?
we eat dinner roughly 10:30 p.m.
Did you go out or did you stay?
No,
at
no, we
home?
all just stay in. We didn't go out at all while we were home.
Okay.
Did Mom bring food?
No. She made everything. She made the.
Yeah, but she didn't bring the ingredients with her cross country.
she did.
Oh, good.
The foreigner she is. She did. Like there
right,
isn't
so
a Mercado Latino in L.A. Jesus.
So you stay up, and that's the last thing in the evening.
but-
Everybody dresses for dinner and
Correct.
then goes into the living room to open gifts.
The babies or the kids get a gift from Santa, their big gift, the next morning.
Oh, because
good.
Santa has
Yeah,
to
you
come
still
through
have
the night.
Christmas
Santa
morning.
comes. Yeah. So
Are there any rules as far as when they come downstairs, when they're all excited? I'm sure kids, it's hard to keep kids in bed.
No,
with that,
they
at least
wake
with
up.
my kids.
I saw your post about at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah.
No, it's usually 6 a.m. Like they can come out. That's why I woke up at 5 to pretend I was Santa. And the beauty of it is that my brother said you have to do the Santa bit, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna know. He's too smart of a kid. I can't just fake it. He goes, no, do one of your voices. One of my voices.
Yeah, of course. Why does Santa sound like the gingerbread man?
Can I hear you? Can I hear your?
Ho ho ho!
That's wonderful.
Not
Oh,
the
I feel like I'm at the
buttons.
North Pole.
Yes,
I really do. I feel like I'm at the
Well,
North
you
Pole.
do. Well, I can't. I said, dude, I don't do voices. I can pretend like I'm Santa, like for the other kids. He goes,
By the
"Just-
way,
just do
next
that."
year, you got another year of it, at least.
I hope so.
If he's
I hope
a
so.
6-year-old.
I hope so.
This is, is this Sebastian?
Sebastian, yes.
Sebastian got an, if you want, next year,
Can he call
me.
Santa?
I've done it. I've done it for every kid in my family.
Oh, that would be so
Hello,
cool.
Sebastian. This is Santa Claus.
Yes!
How are you?
Yes!
Yeah. I love
Yes,
to do that.
that
And you
would
know
be
what?
a lot of
Something
fun.
has just come into play that I think makes the Starchy video less creepy. Is that it's after dinner. It's not like they got up early Christmas morning
And put on
suits.
You're right.
Because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I envisioned.
Yeah.
So this
I
is
get
like
that.
this is almost like a cocktail party.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
Let's
not
take a
quite
break.
so bad.
Let's take a break. We'll
Right.
wrap this. I apologize for all you movie and TV people. We're going to get that segment before the week's over.
Yes.
We're going to get to our discussion of Don't Look Up and a couple of other shows, and we will do that when we come back. But I want to find out more about Oscar's Christmas and then traveling or whatever he did. You know, it's what we do on the Mike O'Mara Show. We'll be right back.
Oscar, it is your father.
I listened to The Mike Show.
The Mike Show.
And then
the Mike Show.
there was a segment on The Mike Show where you talked about me dying in the list you gave me.
I am disappointed in you.
Am I your payaso? Which means, am I your clown? Am I your clown, right, in Spanish?
Am I
And
your clown?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And it sounds worse in Spanish.
yeah, payaso.
Like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
Your brother's being pushy. Tell him to back off.
Say hello to my little friend.
Don't be un payaso. The TMOS bonus show is an extra uncensored hour of La Diversión every week. Order a subscription today by clicking the banner at MikeOMaraShow.com, and you'll have a plethora of the Mike Bonus Show.
Payaso.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Legacy Box. Hey, what's your New Year's resolution? How about this? Huh? I know. How about this? If you're like most folks, there's a box of your family's treasured home movies, photos, tucked in a closet you've been meaning to preserve, but you weren't sure where to start. Legacy Box makes checking this off your to-do list easy. Simply send in your Legacy Box filled with old home movies and photos, then get back digital copies that can be easily enjoyed, shared, and, most importantly, organized. It's like magic. Legacy Box is an industry leader and has helped over 1 million customers safeguard their past. Legacy Box's team of 200 trained technicians processes 19 different media types, from VHS to Super 8 film, by hand, right here in the good old USA. Each kit includes everything you need to safely pack and send your recorded moments, including safety stickers for every item, and each purchase includes access to a personal concierge, Rob Speedway.
Over the holidays, I used my thumb drive to prove to Robert that when he was 5 years old, he got a Star Wars DVD box set for Christmas and hugged it.
Aww,
He said, I never hugged a DVD. I said, wait there. And I put it on the computer. I said, look, you're hugging the DVD.
I'm bringing that out right now. Here's my thumb drive. That concierge, by the way, is available 7 days a week to answer all your Legacy Box questions. Kick off the new year by rescuing your family's most cherished memories. Go to legacybox.com/TMOS to take advantage of an exclusive discount for TMOS listeners. That's legacybox.com/TMOS. We're back to Christmas in L.A. How was the whole L.A. experience out
it's
there? Did you dig
fantastic.
it?
It's I don't know. I don't know enough about LA to hate Los Angeles. Some people
So you're
that-
almost at a touristy level.
but without going out, right? 'Cause
Right,
we were
exactly,
Scared, my especially my parents, were very cognizant of Omicron and meeting people and talking to people and doing things we shouldn't be doing. But just I'm lucky enough to love my family, because some people aren't lucky enough to like have a tight family, and we're very close.
Right.
With that closeness comes these like the quirkiness. They think I'm just too much of a ball buster, I'm sure, because that's what I do and that's what we do, Mike. We find comedy in everything.
Yeah. And you know, when you're in that environment that we're in every day, with our thick skins and our ability to, and once again, another thing we didn't get to today, we'll talk about the bonus show and how we had to kind of apologize to Rob because, there are people that come into that situation that don't know.
They don't get it.
And it's hard for the wives even to come on and do it. It's what we do all the time.
We're doing our job, for God's sake.
Right.
We're here to entertain. Some people hate it, some people like it. What I thought was interesting is with my family, there's no pulling punches, because they might, for the same reason my mom, as soon as I walked in, she says, look, I know you're going to want to eat a lot this break. Don't eat that much. Your face is getting real fat. Like, she just lets you know what's going on. Like, this is where you stand right now. This is what
did she tell? What she not want you to eat?
She said, I'm going to make a lot of food. Don't eat too much. Your face is getting too fat. Like, you have to stop.
Mama.
And I said, well, nice to see you too, Mom. Thanks. I'm going to go play basketball with Luca. Maybe I'll lose some LBs.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what's really nice about that? I don't want to linger, but she was so specific.
Yeah.
Your face. Your face is getting so fat.
Face is fat.
So, my father, of all the people to really make it about him, is, and Mike, you know this, I'd rather people be direct and tell me how they feel.
Right.
Instead
I
of
love
go
that.
like, all right, just let me know what's going on. My father is not direct. My father is just kind and sweet, and he will be, a complete a-hole when something matters to him.
Right.
But when he doesn't really matter, he'll like say it offhand. And nobody, and if they're listening right now, you know what I'm talking about.
So you have to kind of interpret what he
Yes.
means.
My sister swings around to me and says, "This is the day before Christmas. What'd you get, Dad, this year?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just giving a little envelope or a check. Like that's usually what he wants, and that'd be nice, right?"
You give your father money?
Yeah, because he's the hardest person to shop for.
That's weird.
That
Really?
is weird.
That's weird.
That's
Really?
really weird.
That's weird.
Really?
That's weird.
Well, I'm kissing.
Parents give kids cash all the time.
I'm kissing the ring.
Do all the kids give him cash?
Oh yeah, everybody gets a check. Everybody gets cash for our parents.
It's like tribute.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
It's like paying tribute.
Yeah.
And he accepts a thank you. Thank you. That's like is that, Jesus Christ, Oscar, is that your old man's SOP, standard operating procedures for all his Christmas?
I've earned a paycheck, even the little ones.
And this day,
Oh, my
We pay tribute.
God.
this day may never come, but I may call up you for a favor.
Oh, exactly.
Oh my God!
Is that a bad
I love
thing?
your
it's just
This
weird,
is
though.
this is mad admiration and respect for this man who's been what a deal!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both my father and mother get an envelope. Yeah.
Yeah, bought my dad a case
Wow.
of Good and Plenty.
That is. Look, I don't know.
Maybe it's a foreigner thing. I don't know.
I don't know if it's
Do
a
you get
foreigner thing or
American
not.
money that you give him?
Krugerrands.
This was spent in any country.
I love this. That's
I
why
do
we have
too.
to do this.
Yeah.
We have to do this. We have to prioritize this man because things come out of his mouth that just. Here is your. This is like the wedding scene in a Godfather
Yes.
movie, and your
that's what
father
they get.
gets
That's
What
what
did
they
you
get.
get, Dad? I got Dad an envelope.
Yes.
an envelope
So-
with the check, and he takes the check. And go, oh, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very
He goes,
much.
"This is too much."
Just puts
too
a
much.
stack
Yeah.
next to his. Oh,
This is too
How
much
much
as
were-
he puts it in his pocket. He's endorsing the
It
check.
could be any amount, and it's too much,
Yeah.
which is sweet.
Yes,
right?
of course.
this is. I can't even tell you how joyful I am right now. This is. You didn't know. You didn't
I didn't
think
know. I
this
thought this
was
is what
going to be
happens. I thought this
what
is
we
what
latch
happens.
on to.
Yes.
Oh my God.
To him, it's normal.
This is-
It's just what
so,
he does.
Tatiana, Jose, you,
Yes.
all checks.
All checks.
To your mom and
or
your
cash.
dad.
Yes, or cash.
Or
depending on-
cash.
Yes.
Oh, I will not offend you by asking the denominations
Yes, yeah.
or
Well,
anything like that.
It's relative to your income. It's relative to your income. As the years grow, the check should grow.
Let's finish this Christmas soup and let's make our way into the dining room, please. It is time for me to get my gifts.
That's right. All right, stop.
The
oh my
favor that he
God.
called upon Oscar was, you have to be Santa Claus for my boy. My boy.
Look how they massacred my sonny.
Look at that. Pardon us for not being able to get past this. I had no idea. I am not only am I just delighted with this story, I am so
Fascinating.
envious.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so envious.
Someday, Mike, it's not too early for you to set the table.
Set the
I
tone.
don't even get gifts from my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Michael made something at school.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, really, do you get gifts from your kids, Rob?
Julia got me something, and then Robert tends to sort of hop on, say, "This is for me." Oh, and for me too.
Yeah. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
So
they're still in college, right? They're not.
So your
they're
mom
not-
and dad get cash. Do
Yes.
you ever get cash?
No.
You don't get cash.
No.
Okay, because you're the son.
Yeah.
And Jose doesn't get cash. Tatiana
No.
doesn't get cash.
We just get a card. Sweet. It's nice. So
Damn, Christmas midnight. Midnight's the windfall night for daddy and mommy.
It is.
Holy.
this is where
All right.
it comes full circle.
Okay.
I said, I always do that. I was like, that's what we do. That's what we have to do. We have to. So
We have
my sister says, okay.
If you want the week between Christmas and New Year's to be livable, we got to.
Did you
It breaks
say-
your legs if you don't give him his envelope.
I will be carrying Joy with me for the entire day based on this.
Into tomorrow, yeah.
I will just be smiling. We're really at the end of the day. All right, we've got this is everybody goes, okay, time to go to bed, and then Mama and Papa go up into their grandparents' bedroom, and they're going,
yeah. Looks like Scarface in the bedroom.
Okay, go ahead.
My sister says, I was like, why do you ask? I was like, this is what we do every year. She goes, oh, nothing. Like, so it's just something weird's happening. And I don't, there's kids running around.
They turn to you.
Yeah, something's going on.
Your sister turns to you, something's up.
Yeah, I know something's up because sometimes people aren't direct. And I'm like, just be direct.
Okay.
Then my mom, hours later, I'm having un cafecito. I'm having a little coffee at the kitchen table.
It means
I'm on the
small
computer. I'm on
coffee,
the computer. And she goes, what'd you get your dad? I'm like, okay, what's going on? The hens, they've circled me. I know something's going on. I said, what's going on with Dad? Like, I got
This is after the gifts have been opened?
No, this is Christmas Eve, day of.
Okay,
right?
Day of. Okay.
The morning of, my sister circles around.
They're sitting the morning of, you're having your coffee, and your sister and your mom have cornered you, and they're asking you what you got your father.
Yes.
And this is the second time it's been brought up.
Second time, but now a picture in portrait mode. My mom's in focus, and my sister's all the way in the back of the kitchen, big kitchen,
deep focus.
Like
she's pulled that move before.
Yes.
Something bad's gonna happen right now.
Yes. I said, what is wrong? And my mom says, well, you see, there's a funny situation that happened with Christmas last year. And I said, what happened last year? Like, everybody seemed happy.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there. Everyone seemed happy. I know it was on Zoom, but you guys were on, and I saw you guys, you all had masks on. Somehow Dad forgot to cash your check from last year. I said, I don't remember, but I guess I thought I don't remember. Dad usually takes a couple months to cash. Like, it's just what he does. He usually uses them for bookmarks, Mike, before he's ready to cash them. You know how he rolls.
Right.
And
he's flexing.
I said, are you sure? And then he mentioned it just yesterday that he was embarrassed.
He mentioned it?
To my mom. And he said, but don't say anything to Oscar, that he had not cashed last year's check. And last year's check by this year is a bad check. Like, it's gone.
Yeah. Sure.
She goes, so you might want to think of, like, doubling this year's check.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God.
Mike.
Oh, my God.
The colorations and factors at play in this story are multifold.
We have to break.
We do
for Soundtown, but I'm going to tell you
we can postpone Soundtown if you like, because we've got things at play here.
Yes, we must continue Soundtown table.
Tomorrow.
Will come back and finish this. This just mind-numbing. This is.
You may want to.
You may want, because he forgot to cash it.
Oh God.
I'm going to apply to be Oscar's father as soon as this show is over. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Cam Citizen, and I want to have a little heart-to-heart. If you're thinking about just listening to the free daily show and not bothering to buy a bonus show subscription, don't do it! Ow! Ow! Mike, Rob, and Oscar depend on that money! You leech! Stop sucking! Ow! So if you don't want a crazy guy yelling at you, you should really buy that bonus subscription. And if you don't, well, then I'll be haunting you day and night. And you don't want that.
Wow. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Best Fiends. Hey, if you've listened, let me start again. If you have listened to this show for a while, you know that Rob is obsessed with Best Fiends.
Yes.
What level are you on now? I never know. You always talk about the slugs. Why do you write it down?
Details.
Why do you always it's just so,
because I want you to know exactly where I'm at, and this has been a level that has been daunting. I've been here for a while. It's level 4968. It's called Pretty Flowers. I got no problem getting the 25 potted plants, but you got to get 145 strawberries if you want to defeat the 5 slugs. And friends, it ain't easy.
Is that it?
That's it.
He can't put it down. And now that the holidays are over and things are a bit dreary, there's no better time to lose yourself in the fiend-averse. We're going to talk about TV tomorrow on the show, and I will tell you that, this is, after you get through the holiday stuff that's out there that they're debuting, there's a black hole of content and entertainment. Best Fiends is a puzzle game that can fill that for you. It's a mobile puzzle game. You take it anywhere. Anyone can download and play. Whether you have a few minutes or a few hours, you're in a doctor's office, you're in traffic, and you're not going anywhere.
People that ride the subway, you do not need the internet to play it. You download it.
If you are on I-95 in a snowstorm and you're going to be in your car for 21 hours, download Best Fiends. It features tons of cute characters that help you solve thousands of fun puzzles. The more you play, the more you collect as far as characters, and the more you win, the more challenges you face. So get in there and beat them. I'm talking about those slugs. It's wonderful. Rob loves it. Thousands of levels. You literally can play as long as you want and never get bored. Trust Rob. He knows. Get on the Best Fiends bandwagon now. Download Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends, Fiends, and enjoy it as much as Rob has enjoyed it. Our show today has been dominated by the Christmas celebration of Mr. Oscar Santana.
I don't know, Mike. I saw the video. I think it was more of an observation than a celebration.
Well, it's so, I thought that was going to be it.
That's it.
I thought that was going to be this is just amazing. So apparently there is a tradition in the Santana household that tribute is paid to our papa. Where it's an envelope, and mama, they both. That's how they chug along, and it's what a sweet
equitable
deal.
Gifts for both of them, or does one get more?
Yes. No.
I might at a certain point, when I get back to DC or something, when we have an event of some kind, I must sit down with both your mother and father because, Oscar is extremely hardworking, and he's made our business here a great experience. The other siblings are both physicians, and then they're giving cash to their parents on Christmas. I want to talk to Mama and Papa
If you want to
Santana,
talk to them, Mike,
and find out how do you do this with your kids, because it sounds like whatever they've done, they have a magic brain that has turned their children into subservient, cash-spewing robots.
They would be pleased to speak to you as long as you meet their price.
This is true. Fantastic. So you are cornered because Dada did not cash his check from the previous
from the Zoom Christmas. Yes,
and he is so aware of it that he obviously dropped this to your mom.
Yeah, I guess it was
at some point.
small talk, and
it's a passive aggressive Christmas.
Meanwhile, Oscar's back in D.C. living in a thimble.
I know.
Yeah. You want to double it up, Tatiana? Once you go into the big fat Beverly Hills checkbook.
Oscar only has one chimney.
They cash her check, and they're not all the same check. Remember, it's all relative to where you are in life.
Right.
But where I am in life, it's I guess it's meaningful for me and my wife, and
enough that you feel it.
Yes, and what was funny is at that point, like, panic struck because we with all due respect to where we are in life, we still budget, and I was like, "Are you sure he didn't check?" Because then you start having this like, "Are you sure he didn't cash it?" And I didn't want to like bust open my Bank of America account in front of my mom and like do that. So she said, "No, he actually showed me the check because he brought it on this trip."
You can't make this crap up. He brought
in my way.
Rob,
yes.
He brought the check with him.
I have a whole playlet in my head where he's perhaps reading a book with his wife, and he says, "Yoli, what's this? This is last year's check."
I would always think that Oscar is the one that needs to give you more love. I am changing that today. You need to show more love and affection to this man. This is just phenomenal.
You are loved. You are appreciated.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
This is brings the check to show her, and then
I thought certainly this went into the bank last March.
I saw the check. He did not endorse. And I said, okay, well then he didn't. This. Yeah, he didn't. Okay, so I'm looking at the clock. It's Christmas Eve, and I know
Christmas Eve with the takers.
I know for sure that we had written the checks before we left. And I didn't bring a big checkbook with. No one travels with checkbooks.
Right.
You brought the tribute
one
check.
The 2021 tribute check.
I'll give you this. It is convenient.
Yeah.
Just put it in your jacket pocket
So
for Papa.
I looked at the clock. I look at the computer. I go quick, and I have no less than 25 minutes to get to Bank of America to pull the extra cash out, so he has the appropriate amount in his.
To double your gift because he didn't do this is a given as the good son. This is what it costs to be a member of your family.
I literally said, Shannon, I'll be right back.
Did any time when when they sit down with you, and by the way, the sister lingering, and in all fairness,
yes.
These are the people that brought you into the world, raised you,
and my
fed you, clothed you.
father's not going to tell me, hey, I forgot to cash.
Well, you know what? Yes, he is. He's talking to Yoli, who has no problem.
Well, what he did
going
is
down.
He put it in motion. He put it in motion, certainly.
God,
don't tell Oscar,
like a diplomat.
Yeah, exactly.
He has
you know what
no
this
problem.
was? This was a strategic leak to the press.
And meanwhile, Tatiana, who is
loving
filled with just absolute.
Why is she in the back of the kitchen leaning on the stove watching it? Because it's the greatest show on earth.
Seeing the baby brother, who in her mind has always been pampered.
Yes.
Pony up the dough. What was the vibe from Tatiana when this was it? And is that, look, I know she's generous to you. You stay at her fabulous mansion. She's a 10 out of 10.
She found it as comical as I did. Like an older, like a sibling.
Did she get it?
Teasing the others, like if you're just breaking your siblings' balls, being like, see,
was there ever a look between you that kind of like where she's like, "Yep, this is our life. This is what we have to do. This is what they've come to expect."
Yes.
She said, and I was like, "So are you sure you didn't cat?" And I look up at my sister, and she's looked at me. She's like, and then when my mom said, "Yeah, well, he brought it with him, and it's not endorsed," and I was like, "All right." I said, "Where are your keys?" I looked at my sister. I said, where she goes. She points at the little key holder. I'm like, "All right, I'll be back. I've got 25 minutes."
I cannot
barely make it to the bank.
I am enjoying this so much right now.
So great.
And I have to ask you this question: is there First of all, I don't believe that there would be any way where you wouldn't do this, because obviously it's made clear. If you had chosen, say, I just don't have my account is dried up right now. I don't have the funds. I accounted for the check from this year. What would have been the What do you think that you would have gotten the hairy eyeball? You would have gotten the stink eye from Mama and Papa for the rest of the Christmas holiday?
If that were the case, I feel confident. I'm getting nervous even talking about that. If I were to lay that groundwork, it would have caused a broader emergency.
So would it have been even
where
worse?
Then it would have been like, he's broke. They're broke.
Oh, so
that would have. I would have probably taken one of those checks they offer you from the credit card. Like, here's $1,000 extra.
Yeah, exactly.
We're running out of time, so I have to ask you this last. So you go to Bank of America, you get it all straightened out. You get cash from Bank of America. B of A, you get cash. You come back. Do you communicate to your mother that all is right with this little debacle?
I go right to the Admiral.
And how does you've made her Christmas work, right?
She's like, you're a good son. You're a good son.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
Here's some cash for Dad.
Yeah. And then Oscar ended it by saying, tell the old timer to mind his banking a little closer.
You know what, though, Rob? I'll be honest with you. You know what that is? Maybe it is a Latin thing. Maybe it is Latin. Maybe it's the reason I do not have any physician in Southwest Florida that is not a Latin American person.
Could be.
I do not. Maybe the work ethic is so strong. Meanwhile, we were all, who's giving money to the parents? All they did was raise us. I don't mind it. At the end of the day, I don't mind it. There's something right going on over here with the good son.
It's sort of a modern Christmas carol.
I have to ask one last question.
Yeah.
I have to ask one last question. So, midnight comes. This is just my mind's. I'll be thinking about this all day.
Yeah.
Midnight comes. the gifts. It's very formal, very, very reserved.
Yes.
The reaction when is it in a Christmas card? Is it in one of those little things where the
or is it in a box?
No, it's in the Christmas card, and my father and mother are very classy about it.
Okay,
they don't.
Right.
So everyone else opens their gifts up in front of each other, but my dad's like, and my mom, we prefer to open these in private.
I would too. It's like a bank robbery. It's like a bank robbery. Jesus Christ. We prefer to take these up. And your mom and I will be going to bed right now and lying on the bed and rolling in the cash. That's what we're doing.
There is no surveillance camera in the bedroom.
I did get 3 days later on a long walk with my father. He did said, "Thank you for excusing my irresponsible financial decision to not cash your check."
That's a strange world, man.
And I
That's
said,
a world I'm
"Dad,
not
I'm not
accustomed
mad at you. I'm fine." I was like, "But I wish you would have," because I can't hold it back. Just tell me, like, call me, tell me something.
We're preparing for our Christmas feast, and I have to tell you that check you wrote me last year, I never got around to cashing it. Because I keep the check and require the check from you not to sustain me financially, but to simply put a burden and pressure on you to make you a better person.
This is the true takeaway. When we're done with the walk, he comes over with my mom with their checks. My dad already got his cash from last year. He sat there. "Your mother tells me there's mobile deposit."
So you can go to the ATM, and I can send it right into my account.
Could you show us how to do that with these checks?
and happy and Feliz Navidad.
Perhaps in the future, cash would be the go-to.
Oh, Oscar. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
we love you. You are loved. You are appreciated.
Wow. That's one for the
How did
ages
Shannon
right there.
deal with the horse head in the bed?
We got to get out of here. We'll be back with, hopefully we'll get to our TV stuff and my food tip for Christmas, which now doesn't seem like anything, you know. I'm not being extorted. Anyway, that's it. We got to take a powder. We'll see you tomorrow for Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana. This is Mike O'Mara saying, cash those checks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
My boy.
Ciao, ciao.
Want more? Make sure you check out the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Sayonara, sucker! You're playing golf and you're going to like it. What about my asthma? I'll give you asthma.
This is a circus.
Hey, save some for Dad now. I'm a phony, just like you.
Well, I don't get. They bring the income, but they're